warm welcome. You've joined us live from Shark Bait Stadium in San Francisco, California. Today, the San Francisco Sharks look to make a final push towards a wild card spot in the Western Conference. But to do that, they'll have to get past rookie sensation Colin Hart and the Sioux Falls Sparrows, who are looking to secure their own playoff spot at the top of the conference. Week 9 rolls on the SFL Network on YouTube, presented by 8 PM Music. I am your play-by-play commentator, Michael Truilo. In the booth with me today is Levant Mercer. Levant, good evening to you.
Good evening, and this is going to be a very vital matchup for Sioux Falls here today.
Got down to the field for the coin toss. Both of these teams spout very stout defenses, look for to be a kind of a low-scoring, cagey affair. And the Sharks will get the ball first. The kicker, Sally Prefontaine, has the ball on the tee. His hand is in the air. The whistle blows and it's game on for the Shark Tank in San Francisco. Returning up to the 20, moving left side, gets a block 30-yard line is Gabriel Manning, and ball will be spotted at the 31 as the San Francisco offense comes onto the field, led by quarterback Rob Roby. The running back is Ogun Zulu. The wide receivers are Mickey Martino and Gabriel Manning. The tight end is Matt Burnham. They'll start from the 31-yard line, moving right to left across your radio dial here in the all black with light blue and white accents today. Roby in the gun, 3 receivers left. He'll hand it off to Zulu, and Zulu will get 1 yard on first down.
Zulu's going to have to find his way around this linebacker core that has been very stout for them so far this year.
Sioux Falls in their white jerseys, white pants, yellow helmets, and black trim. I'll get you their defense in a moment after this second down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Another delayed handoff to Zulu, and this time he'll lose a yard. Terrific hit right in the hole from Nick Fargo. Here's the rest of the Sioux Falls defense. The safeties are Christopher Dodd and A.J. Levy. The corners are Jay Ringgold and Andrew Nyberg. And the linebacking crew is Alex Parker and Nick Fargo, 2 of the fiercest linebackers in the entire league. As a throw over the middle on third down and long will get 8 yards, but not enough as the pass was complete to number 10, Jake Jones. And the punting unit will come out after a 3-and-out for the Sharks.
It's just the first series, so I really wouldn't say that San Francisco has really shown Sioux Falls how they're going to come out yet. It's still much too soon to say.
But I talked about it already, the 2 linebackers, Alex Parker and Nick Fargo. You know a lot about this linebacking core, Levant, as you were a part of it last season. As the punt is taken up to the 22-yard line, that's where Sioux Falls will start on offense. How important is it today to shut down the San Francisco run game if you're Sioux Falls?
Well, if you can force Rob Roby to have to run and pass himself, you've seen that in the past couple of weeks, San Francisco can't really rely on just the passing game. So if you shut down Zulu, you take away more than half their offense. First
and 10 from the Sioux Falls from their own 22-yard line. Julian Tyree moves the pocket, fires a dart over the middle. 14 yards and a first down on the first play from scrimmage. That pass was hauled in by A.J. Warren. Here's the rest of the Sioux Falls offense. The quarterback is Julian Tyree. The running back is Colin Hart. The wide receivers are Sean Harrelson, A.J. Warren, and Riley Porter. The tight end is Craig Hearn. And this Sioux Falls offense, they can put up some points, and they can put them up in a hurry, whether that be on the ground or through the air. As on first and 10 from the 34, Tyree is under center. He'll throw to the far side. That pass is complete to Harrelson, and he'll get another first down all the way up to the 45-yard line.
It's going to be interesting to see how Hoffman and the rest of the secondary want to handle some of these receivers. you know, one of the fastest men in the league is Sean Harrelson, and if you give him separation like that every play, you might see some danger.
The defense opposing them for San Francisco. I'll get to them after this first down and 10 from the 45 as Tyree looks and it's batted away. Big play out there on the defensive end by Chad Guy, the linebacker. Here's the rest of the San Francisco defense. The safeties are Barry Barkley and Cristiano Torres. The corners are Dean Maddox and Camden Hoffman. The linebacker are Chad Guy, and the defensive end is Abner St. John. Second down and 10. Empty backfield for Tyree and this Sioux Falls offense with 5 wide receivers. Man-to-man coverage looks like on defense with the 2 safeties covering. Second down and 10. Tyree in trouble. Down he goes. Coverage check for San Francisco.
So one of the very few weaknesses that Sioux Falls would even have is if they could, their offensive line tends to break down, and here we have it again where it just breaks down. They all went out to lunch and Tyree goes down.
John Osiris picking up the sack. Abner St. John was also in there in the backfield. Maybe give him a half a sack as well. Third down and 20 now, and a long way to go. Tyree high snap, punk fakes. He's going down again. Second sack in a row for the hometown team. And this drive ends with a bang as David Nyoku gets a sack off the defensive end spot.
It's not very often that you see San Francisco push pressure like that, but as I've said before, I mean, this offensive line does not pass protect very well. More of a zone blocking sort of team.
Max Moholt on to punt on 4th and 27. He got that away from about his own 25-yard line. Going to be decent field position here as Manning makes a man miss and gets up to the 35 on the return.
Almost blocked that punt there. They're having issues just guarding anyone so far back there.
We've seen an offensive possession for each team. Sioux Falls was able to move the ball, got a couple of first downs before they were pushed back, and San Francisco went 3 and out. And now the Sharks are going to have a second chance here. 4 wide, 2 to each side. Under center is Roby. Roby looking throw short. That pass is complete. Making a man miss, breaking a tackle and getting a first down of the game for the Sharks is Matt Burnham, the tight end, and he was really important last week, even though it was a loss to New Orleans.
And they're going to start incorporating him more in the offense. As you can see, his skill set here just absolutely just shredded both of the linebackers we were talking about earlier on this play. Just destroyed Fargo on coverage there, and then Parker had issues bringing him down.
First down and 10 for Sioux Falls from their own 48-yard line. As you see Burnham there on the sideline, not included with the package for this play. 4 wide in the pistol formation of the backfield is Roby. Alongside him is Zulu. 3 left, single right. Here's a handoff. Zulu, delayed handoff, and right up the goes Ogunzulu. 11 yards, first down into Sioux Falls territory at the 41-yard line.
Well, this is something that you don't want to see.
Slow to get up.
It's very much something you don't want to see if you're San Francisco. You don't want your star running back to go down, but as we see here, he just seems to have just landed wrong on his hip there. We hope he's all right. See the report later in the game.
A.J. Levy up from the safety spot, combined to make the tackle with Chris Dodd. And we will see what the situation is. That's Blackman in the backfield as the secondary runner for San Francisco. Trips left, single right. Roby to throw. 7-step drop. He stands at midfield, throws, and it's tipped in the air and incomplete. Chris Dodd got a hand up there and knocked it away.
Good vision by Dodd there, but I would have liked to see a little more hustle, a little more effort to try to pick the ball off there.
Second down and 10, and we've seen a lot of injuries in the league this season to key players, be it, Kentez Johnson in the preseason, and a couple of weeks ago, we had Ray Bentley go down with an injury, and it's really affected the league in significant ways this season. We'll get to more on that after. Roby, second down and 10, another long drop. This time he completes the pass in double coverage. 9-yard gain out to the far side. Matt Burnham again makes the catch. So Levant, you know, with all these stars going down so frequently this season, what does that mean for the rest of the lineups of these teams?
Well, you have to have some sort of next man up mentality, and you're just going to have to shake these things off and just keep pushing, keep going.
Roby, delayed handoff. Blackman, he did enough for a first down, even though he got rocked in the middle by Fargo. But another move of the chains for San Fran, and they're in business at the 30-yard line, in field goal range now. But I'm sure they'll want 6 points and not just 3. No, Bizwoofer in the chat. Queen City is Buffalo, New York. Roby, 1st and 10, pressure. Oh, hit as he threw, and he almost threw a pick. He overthrew the intended receiver, Martino, and Nick Dodd had his second chance of the drive to make a pick there.
This is what Roby has had struggles with in the past couple weeks. When the pressure gets in his face, he doesn't seem to have the same poise in the pocket that he normally does, and just rockets balls that shouldn't be thrown.
2nd and 10, trips left, single right. 5-man front for Sioux Falls, and they bring them all. Good pocket throw as Roby goes to the end zone. It's tipped up in the air and incomplete. And that's Nick Dodd again, putting the block on Tim Brown Jr.'s touchdown hopes. Oh, that's the other corner, Nyberg. Hi.
Well, here we have just some wonderful return speed there by Levy here, helping out the corner that was burnt on that play. Nyberg, just you need safeties that have recovery speed like that to save plays like this.
Nyberg, Levy, Dodd all in on the stop there. Now 3rd and 10 from the 30. We'll go similar formation. Roby, all 7-step drop pressure coming. He dimes it right over the middle to Martino. This time 15 yards and a first down. Make that 13 yards and a first down as his knee hit the ground at the 17-yard line.
I guess I can finally make my point here is that when you have injuries like this, you need to go towards your other stars like Martino here, who is very shifty and deceptive. Sometimes you don't see him go over the middle like that. You kind of lose track of him down there.
4 wide and a tight end on 1st and 10 from inside the SFL, presented by APM Music. Red zone, Roby, short pass over the middle finds Martino. He'll pick up 2 yards.
I have to say, I like to see Martino come back on the route there. He didn't let the play die. He saw that Roby was going to throw a bit of a duck there, but came back and bailed his quarterback out.
Under 5 minutes to go, first quarter. We've gone a little fast here as the clock ticks down in San Francisco. 2 to the right, none left. Heavy formation on offense this time. 2nd and 8 from the 15. Roby, check down outside, room to run for Blackman, and he will pick up a first down, and goal to go at the 7-yard line.
Well, maybe this is how they want to implement Blackman here. As we see here, he's probably more of a receiving back. He's able to catch out of the backfield, something Zulu sometimes struggles with, and that's probably how they're going to employ him the rest of the game.
And they seemingly sold out for a run up the middle, then threw it to the outside, caught the Sioux Falls defense a little off guard there. Plenty of space for Blackman to run and pick up the first down. First down and goal to go from the 7-yard line. 4 wide, set, 3 left, single right. This time it's a draw to Blackman, and he won't pick up anything as it was snuffed out well by the Sioux Falls front line.
It's very interesting to see how San Francisco wants to deal with how the Sparrows tend to use some of their linebackers as rush ends, as we see that there's 5 down linemen and one of the linebackers counted as one of the linemen.
They really like this bunch formation left single right. They've been going back to it all drive long, and I think they'll go back to it all day. Do the Sharks. Roby, 2nd down and goal. Looking, end zone, put it on the board. Sharks touchdown. Gabriel Manning puts the first points on the board for San Francisco.
When you're in the red zone like this, you got to go to your veterans, and that's what Roby did here. Let's look at it again. He just steps back, has all day to throw. Just wonderful, just threw it only where his receiver could get it.
San Francisco drives down the field after the defensive stop, gets 6 points, possibly 7 now, as here's Rositarian Sloan, the kicker for San Francisco. He has some impressive numbers on the season. He's 17 of 18 on the year on field goals. That extra point is up and good. Last week, 2 for 3. He had a field goal blocked by New Orleans, which constituted his first miss of the season. But 9 games in and you've only missed 1. That's pretty impressive.
Well, not only that, but he's also in on those onside kicks that are so deadly for the Sharks this season.
Sloan gonna boot this one away from the 20-yard line. 3:21 to go, first quarter. Sharks up 7-0 over the visiting Sioux Falls Sparrows in this Key Western Conference clash. That ball returned up to the 28-yard line. Riley Porter, the wide receiver, hasn't made a catch yet today, but is on the kick return duties for the yellow and black. Yeah. First down and 10 from the 28-yard line. Empty backfield for Tyree on first down. Short drop, looks over the middle into tight coverage. The ball is bouncing around and finally hits the turf. Defended well by Barry Barkley. Up from the safety, and Ogunzulu's out for the game. That's a huge blow for the Sharks offense.
That's something they really can't afford so far in this game, but let's see how they decide to attack Sioux Falls with Blackman.
Looking like a zone coverage coming out here from San Francisco on 2nd and 10. Tyree under center. He's going to take a short drop throw to the far side. It's knocked away before it reaches the intended receiver, Chad Guy. He's had a couple of knockdowns already today. 3rd down and 10.
It's nice to see Chad Guy bring himself back to form after having a couple double minuses in the last game against New Orleans. It's great to see that he's improved on coverage so quickly.
Quickly, 3rd down and 10 here from the Sioux Falls 28-yard line. Tyree in the shotgun. 4 wide. Here comes the 4-man rush. Tyree hit as he throws, and the ball hits the turf again. It's not going to be a sack, but credit Abner St. John with the knockdown.
And if they continue to get pressure on Sioux Falls and not give Tyree any time to throw, that vertical offense is going to be neutralized. Tyree's going to have to start running. He's probably going to have to start trying to make his own plays. Get himself some space so that he can throw the ball.
Second punt of the game coming up from Max Moholtz. And he's going to be deeper in his own end than the last time he punted. This one from just past his 20-yard line. It's going to be more good field position for the Sharks, as spinning off of one tackle and then getting up to the 37-yard line is Gabriel Manick. And one more note about the Sioux Falls offense so far. Guess who we haven't seen guess who we haven't seen? We haven't seen Colin Hart. I mentioned him right at the top of the broadcast, the rookie running back. Interesting to note about the Sioux Falls offense. When Colin Hart rushes for over 100 yards, they've won every single game. When he rushes for under 100 yards, they have lost both of those games. As Roby going down the field on first down, knocked away into tight coverage looking for Brown Jr.
Well, if this is the way that they want to attack Sioux Falls, they better be very careful or very, very, very precise. And that pass was far from that. Roby's going to have to just get more loft under it or start going for more safe intermediate passes.
From their own 37-yard line, 2nd down and 10, Roby under center. And Rob's going to drop back. Plenty of time. Throws to the far side, near side rather. That pass is complete to Gabriel Manning, 11 yards and a first down up to the 48.
We'll start trying to find some of these mismatches. Like here we have Manning on Dodd here, and it's absolutely just What a route runner he is. He just shook both of them, but they are challenging the catch made in bounds.
Wow, I didn't think this was anywhere close to being a challengeable call, but the Sioux Falls coaching staff thinks otherwise, and let's take a look at the tape.
Well, let's look at it again. Here's the change in direction. Here's where he catches the ball, and I think he's in.
I think he's in by a mile. You only need 1 foot down in the SFL.
After review, the play stands. The pass was complete. The catch was
and that is
going out of bounds.
Going to be a win for San Francisco on the challenge. Sioux Falls loses a timeout. And it is 7-0, and the drive continues for San Francisco.
I think that was an ill-advised challenge, but I'm not so sure missing a timeout this early in the game is that much of a hindrance.
Now, in the second half, maybe you don't challenge that, but it's the first half. You're looking to get the momentum. There's another same pass out to Manning. First down, 11 yards again.
Maybe you're looking to try to bait the challenge again. I mean, like, second verse, same as the first. Maybe make you lose 2 timeouts? No? Yes? Oh, well, they tried it, but they got the first down, and that's what they needed.
And you mentioned it before, Gabriel Manning's beautiful route running. That is 2 corner routes executed to perfection on back-to-back plays. Both of them covered by Dodd. And both of them first downs for the Sharks. Roby looking over the middle, complete in double coverage. First down, Sharks to the 23-yard line of Sioux Falls. Mickey Martino hauling that one in.
Yeah, I guess part of this is that Sioux Falls was just not expecting San Francisco to come out and test his secondary. But when you lose Zulu, you have to rely on people like Martino, like Manning, like Burnham, and they're doing that well so far.
All the way down almost to the red zone already. This drive started at their own 37-yard line, if you remember. Roby under center again. He'll drop back to throw. Plenty of time over the middle again. Complete to Manning. Another corner route. Beautiful. First down.
It just looks like Dodd's just continuing to get beat with this route running skill of Manning here, but they might want to press him on the line. I'm sure Dodd is very well at doing that, and that's the adjustment they may make later in this game.
Into the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone. First down and goal to go from the 8. 1:30 to go, first quarter. And the Sharks looking to go up by 2 scores. Handoff, Blackman up the middle, got a block and got 4 yards down to the 4.
And it doesn't matter who's back there if the passing game is working. If you call draw plays designed to catch the defense off guard there, it doesn't. I mean, it's going to just play into the more shifty, more sort of one-cut guy that Blackman is.
Second and goal from the 4. Roby moves in the pocket, floats it over the middle, incomplete. Wow. It was dropped. Looked to be wide open, did the receiver Tim Brown Jr. But it's going to be 3rd and goal.
With him in particular, Tim Brown Jr. is probably leading the league in drops so far. Him and Cade Stevens, and they're both in the same division.
Cade Stevens of the Vancouver Legion. Under a minute to go now, 3rd quarter, 59 seconds left. 3rd and goal from the 4. Roby, play action, looking over the middle, tipped it incomplete. The defense got there, and it was Nick Fargo knocking the ball away and making the Sharks come up empty in the red zone.
It's not something that he often is utilized in, not much of a cover linebacker, but here we just see just his absolute talent with covering the ball there and jumping. Like he probably has one of the highest verticals of all the linebackers in this league.
Rosatarian Sloan will come on for what should practically be a chip shot for him. It's going to be about a 21-yarder. This will put the Sharks up 10 should this go through. Snap good, hold good, and the kick is right down Main Street, so at 52 seconds to go. San Francisco takes a 10-0 lead over Sioux Falls. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music. Stay with us. And Levant, even though they didn't get a touchdown out of that drive, it was still a very good time-wasting drive, took a lot of time off the clock, prevented Sioux Falls offense from being on the field. They're sitting there twiddling their thumbs, and you've got a formation for San Francisco that's working so far.
Yeah, but you can't keep going to that all game because, I mean, if you keep doing the same thing, you become too predictable, and what are completions now end up interceptions later.
Porter brings this one back to the 27-yard line, so similar starting position for Sioux Falls to their last drive, which ended in a 3-and-out. Julian Tyree and company looking for a better result this time. Tyree under center, Hart in the backfield, 3 receivers right and none to the left. Tyree looking, throwing, short complete to Harrelson, and he'll pick up 5 yards on first down.
I'm going to want to see Sioux Falls start to unlock the Hart right now and just bring Colin Hart into this game.
30 seconds to go, first quarter. Sioux Falls hasn't had a first down since their first drive of the game. Back with about 8 or 9 minutes to go. Handoff. Colin Hart bottled up in the backfield. He broke 1 tackle and actually got 2 yards out of it, which was good because it looked to be losing about 3 initially.
Well, when you have such a powerful running back like this, just absolutely majestic rookie that we have this season in Colin Hart, I mean, he's just, I don't even know what word to use for him, really. A beast.
1 quarter down, 3 to go here from the Shark Tank in San Francisco. The Sharks lead the Sparrows 10-0. Sparrows have got the ball, though. They'll flip the field. Michael Truilo, Levant, Mercer in the booth with you. Here from San Francisco, watching all of the SFL action on a Sunday afternoon. As over the middle goes Kyrie. First down and more up near midfield. This time, he's got Craig Hearn from the tight end spot.
Starting to go back to the tight end. They haven't had one the season before, but Hearn, in situations like this, you always want to have somebody tough over the middle like he can be sometimes, and great play there.
This is the farthest that Sioux Falls have gotten the line of scrimmage in this game. Haven't even crossed midfield yet. 10:35 to go, second quarter. Throwing over the middle. That'll get him over midfield and more. Up to the 41-yard line of San Francisco. Big catch, Riley Porter. That's Porter's first offensive inclusion of the day. He's been returning kicks so far for the Sparrows. First down and 10 from the 41-yard line of San Francisco. Tyree pressure, 3rd sack of the day, and back to the 48. John Osiris has picked up 2 sacks today.
It just seems to be every time they line up in a shotgun, they just can't seem to maintain their blocks, and Osiris once again, and honestly the entire defensive line, only rushing 3, and all 3 of them break through.
Shout outs, Biswoofer, Warhammer 62, TMG Jr., Mr. Gutty, Rob Roby, Jay Ringo, GG Torres, and everybody else watching us on the SFL Network on YouTube. Thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us here at the Simulation Football League. Tyree bullet, seam route, spin movement. Wow, what a play by Riley Porter. 2 catches in a row, and that one was impressive.
And it just seems like he really wants me to say something about him. He had 45 yards in the touchdown in the last game, and here he is again, just showing off the skills. Just absolutely just making San Francisco look silly out there.
He put his foot in the ground, and the would-be tackler dove right by him. First down and 10 for Sioux Falls from the 23-yard line of San Francisco, going right to left across your radio dial. Here's Colin Hart. He's got the outside, and he's got up to the 16-yard line, a 6-yard gain before he was finally brought down. He had some green grass ahead of him, just couldn't avoid the solo tackle.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just choose the wrong thing to do as a rookie. You try to go with a stiff arm, or you try to do something a little different than what you usually do, and you just can't get through your man.
Into the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone for the first time today. Goes Sioux Falls, check down to Colin Hart, and he's not going to get the first down. He's a yard short. Good tackle there by Camden Hoffman, the corner.
Also had some assistance there by a linebacker. Not sure if that was Guy on the play, but it was a joint tackle.
3rd down and 1. Important play this for Sioux Falls. They want to keep their touchdown aspirations alive. It's a play action and a short pass over the middle of a 1st down and more up to the 6-yard line. A little trickery. It is Colin Hart eventually got the football, but it was through the air.
And when you have a running back like this and other teams have started finally employing the play action, when you have a back like this that could both bowl people over and catch the ball, a dual threat running back is just really hard to stop.
Just a single receiver each side. It's going to be a handoff. Colin Hart, the offensive line, didn't do him any favors, but he broke a tackle and gets to the pylon. Put it on the board. Sioux Falls scores by Colin Hart.
Well, who needs them when you can do it all by yourself? Hart with Hart here. Just absolutely not caring about how many defenders are trying to bring him down. He wanted the end zone, and nobody was going to stop him.
I'm looking back at the replay. About 3 or 4 of the offensive line missed their blocks, but Colin Hart didn't care. He had only had eyes for the end zone, and he got there. Broke 3 tackles along the way. And now Sammy Prefontaine puts the extra point up and through. 7:30 to go. 2nd quarter. San Francisco 10. Sioux Falls on the board with 7. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. And Colin Hart has arrived in this football game.
And San Francisco has to be put on notice because of the stat line that we put earlier. If Colin Hart rushes for more than 100 yards, more often than not, Sioux Falls wins the game. So San Francisco has to keep them under that.
Ooh, a spin move by the returner Manning. Didn't really get him much up to the 30-yard line, but crowd roars a little bit. Gets the fans off their seats after being a little disappointed by the score by Sioux Falls. They'll start their drive from the 30-yard line, going left to right, wearing all black with sky blue and white trim. And the Sparrows all white with yellow helmets and black trim. 1st down and 10 for Roby and company. As Rob drops back to pass, throws over the middle, complete in tight coverage. Good hands there by Gabriel Manning. He's a critical part of this offense, and he's proved it in the last couple of weeks.
I mean, when a rookie trusts his veteran right out like this, you're just going to see the connection get better and better as the weeks go along. And when you see Manning paired up against a linebacker like that, no matter how good Fargo is, there's just nothing he could do.
And you said it yourself on the last defensive possession for Sioux Falls. Fargo's not really that much of a coverage back. He's more of a blitzing back. So it makes mismatches for the offense. And here's Martino grabbing a pass, getting the 1st down on the near side and more to the 45-yard line. It took 3 Sparrow defenders to bring him down, led by A.J. Levy and Jay Ringgold.
So if you're Jay Ringgold there on that play, you got to wrap up better than that. Martino isn't, the biggest wide receiver. In fact, he's probably one of the most diminutive, and you still can't bring him down. You need 3 other people to bring him down. That's just outrageous.
1st and 10 across midfield at the 45, and that might have been an ill-advised throw. Manning was in tight double coverage as the ball hits the turf, and if you're San Francisco, maybe you're lucky with that outcome.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't just force your favorite connection to go through, and maybe he should have looked at Burnham, probably went down his progression list. Either he felt like he didn't have time, or he just really had too much faith in Manning that time.
3 receivers left, single right, 2nd and 10 from the Sioux Falls 45. Roby delayed handoff to Blackman, and Blackman lost a yard as he was hit in the backfield and dropped by Alex Parker on the run blitz.
A little slow to get up himself, but on this play, it just seemed like he should have just killed the play. but it's going absolutely nowhere. Absolutely destroyed on the line.
Drive in danger of stalling here. Third. Oh, it's a jump by Sioux Falls. A throw out to the far side. Manning brings it down and gets a first down up to the 35.
Well, the free play here didn't even matter for San Francisco, but let's see what it is. It's obviously a neutral zone infraction that they're not going to accept.
It's a first down. Gabriel Manning coming in clutch with a couple of big catches here on this drive. That one in double coverage to move the chains. And the Sharks looking to add to their 10-7 lead before the half. So now they'll set up at the 35-yard line. 3 receivers and a tight end. Nobody in the backfield with Roby. He stands in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. Plenty of time. Throws far side and a tight coverage. First down. Jump ball catch. Gabriel Manning.
A little bit of an ill-advised throw there, but it doesn't matter when you're a skillful as Manning. Corner there tried to jump for the ball there and just came a second too short. Wonderful vision by Manning to keep himself in bounds as well.
Maybe 9 times out of 10, Jay Ringgold picks that. But against Gabriel Manning, he's outmatched and he's out-jumped by the Sharks receiver. 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. He's going towards Manning again. Another catch, this time for 8 yards.
The more that they go to this, the more Sioux Falls is going to catch up on this. They're probably going to start with the double teams. They're probably going to start shading linebackers that direction. Probably going to start shading the safeties inside. They're going to have to start trusting their other receivers.
Trips left, single right. Roby pressure, hit as he throws, wide open in the middle of the field. Is that a touchdown? Yes, it is. No, it's not a touchdown. Martino, he was touched before he went down. I don't know.
Let's look at it again. I think there was absolutely no one there. Let's see. When was he? I think when he's touched down there, he crossed the line, but I guess they're going to mark him down at the 1, and that's just abysmal. That's terrible.
I thought that Martino had a touchdown there, but it's going to be 1st and goal from inside the 1-yard line for the Sharks. Roby looking, pressure, throws. Oh, knocked away. It was almost picked off by Nick Fargo.
This play shouldn't have even gone off. I still feel like, well, let's look at this again. Let's talk about this first. Fargo, at least in the red zone, has been everywhere. Probably not so much in coverage normally, but in the red zone, he's been showing off today. Look at that swat, just right in time. But the Sharks shouldn't have even had to have been in position to call this play. They should have had 6. Simply because you're not really marked down until your touchdown, and I still don't understand how Martino wasn't marked down yet.
Yeah, and that last play, Roby really tried to force it to Martino. Looks like he was trying to give him his due. But Martino's to the bottom side of your picture, marked up one-on-one, but they're going to go to Blackman, and Blackman couldn't get there. In fact, he lost a yard back to the 2-yard line, and guess who it is? It's Nick Fargo again making the tackle.
And he's just absolutely showing out in the red zone here. He's made 3 key stops so far for Sioux Falls. Let's see how he does on this play. I don't really... It was an ill-advised running play there. That's just not Blackman's style.
3rd and goal from the 2. Long drop in, one-on-one coverage, and it's defended well. Jay Ringgold knocks the ball away from Manning, and San Francisco's going to have to settle for 3 points again.
And this right here is what it was I was talking about. They have a linebacker underneath. They have man-on-man coverage with Manning. They have a safety over the top. There was no way that ball was going to get to Manning. I do not understand why you're still trying to force those throws in there.
Rositarian slow, and if last one was a chip shot, this is even chip shottier, if that's a word. And it's going to be inside the 20-yard line attempt, and from 18 yards, he puts it right down Main Street. San Francisco a little bit disappointed they didn't come away with a touchdown there. With 3:46 to go in the half, it's San Francisco 13, Sioux Falls 7. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. And looking back one more time at that play that could have been called a touchdown, you know, what are your thoughts on that call?
Well, my understanding has always been you're not really marked down until the point that you're touchdown, even if you're already down. Like, there's a lot of plays that aren't called dead until you're touched. And by the time he was touched, he was in the red zone. He was in the end zone. I just simply am still shocked and amazed by that call.
They did get 3 points out of it. Up 13-7. 6-point ball game. Handoff. Colin Hart. Oh, he's got breakaway track speed down the sideline. 50, 40. One man to beat. He could go, and he's tackled inside the 20-yard line. Colin Hart put on a show.
Well, he's already almost at the 100-yard mark, and he's been just showing off this season. Here he just finally has a great hole, bust wide open, and that's it for him. He's off to the races, and if it wasn't really for Barkley's wonderful recovery speed, that could have been 6. Should have been 6, honestly. But great job by Barkley, great job by Hart here. Just one-on-one here, and just couldn't just quite break that tackle. Great job by Barkley there once again. Wrap him up.
From just outside their own 20-yard line to just inside the San Francisco 20-yard line. A 60-plus yard run for Colin Hart. 1st and 10 inside the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone. Tyree Harrelson makes the catch, ducks under a tackle, and gets a 1st down and goal to go to the 4-yard line.
I feel like Harrelson should have just used his burst of speed there. He's one of the fastest receivers in the league, and what we'll see here, how it was that he ducked right under Chad Guy initially, but probably bracing for the hit. He knows that the linebacker's coming in for him. That's probably where he lost some of his momentum and allowed Guy to make the tackle.
And it was a good adjustment by Chad Guy. If he commits to the original tackle angle, that's probably a touchdown for Harrelson. Here's Colin Hart, off tackle run, looking for the pylon, put it on the board. Colin Hart has both of the Sioux Falls touchdowns.
Well, they're finally sealing it here. Once again, both blocks to the outside there just sealed the gaps and allowed Colin Hart to just run it in for 6. And he's just really taking over this game now.
Took a little bit for Colin Hart to get off the bus, but he has finally arrived here at Sharkbait Stadium and has pretty much single-handedly driven the Sioux Falls Sparrows into the lead here, as Prefontaine will attempt the extra point. And that extra point is up and through. 2:47 to go. Only a minute off the clock on that Sioux Falls touchdown drive. It's Sparrows 14, Sharks 13. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Blink and you'd miss it, Levant.
Pretty much. I mean, if you weren't here earlier with us, I'm Levant Mercer along with Michael Truilo. If you weren't here to see it, you probably just missed the score, because Sioux Falls just scored in under a minute. Colin Hart with just 2 very bruising runs.
And Gabriel Manick brings the San Francisco kick return up to the 29-yard line. 2 minutes 42 to go in the first half. The offenses have showed up here in the second quarter after kind of being a little lost in the first. But for San Francisco, it's been a story of good drives, but failing to finish in the red zone. Whether that's on the San Francisco offense or the Sioux Falls defense, we'll let you decide, as the first pass goes over to Martino for 5 yards.
Well, one of the big things for San Francisco is now that Zulu is out of the game, and they're committing very heavily to the passing offense. Roby's been shaky in the middle of games the past couple weeks, so let's see how he fares here.
He's got a Back to either side of him, but he's going to throw the football on 2nd and 5 over the middle. Manning, has a first down up to the 44-yard line. Gabriel Manning 4 yards short of 100 on the day, plus the touchdown. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Sharks and Sparrows trading blows in San Francisco this fine Sunday afternoon. We see Matt Burnham back on the field, the San Francisco tight end. Roby hasn't really gone to him much in the second quarter after being a workhorse in the first. I formation on 1st down and 10 as a sidearm throw out to Blackman will go nowhere on 1st down.
He just probably didn't see anything downfield, but it was good play by McGee to close in on the running back there.
And Colin Hart is, with that long run actually, is now over 1,000 total yards on the ground for the season. Stiff arm to get out of one tackle from Burnham as he picks up 7 yards on 2nd down, 3rd down and 3 coming up.
You know, Sioux Falls in the draft traded down a couple times and were able to get their guy. And he's just been an absolute revelation for them so far this season. And good candidate for Offensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
Long drop for Roby down the middle, tipped and knocked away. Jay Ringgold has been huge for the Sioux Falls defense, and we're going to see the first punt of the game for the Sharks by Chris Kicks right now.
And, you know, honestly, I feel like the Sioux Falls Sparrows have probably had the most successful draft towards the bottom end of the draft. They picked up Colin Hart in round 2, and both of their corners in round 2, and they've been doing very well so far.
Punt is away from Kicks, bounces inside the 10, down to the 2, and will roll into the end zone. So Sioux Falls, with under a minute to go now in the first half, will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. And we have seen on their last drive that Sioux Falls has the ability to score very quickly. And with 2 timeouts, the graphic does say 3 timeouts, but they did lose one on the challenge earlier. They're very capable of putting more points up before halftime, as here is a first down throw over the middle. Harrelson diving catch wide open for a first down up to the 38-yard line. And they'll go with the up-tempo offenses. Tyree trots the line under center with 3 receivers. Oh, and it's a jump. That's a terrible mistake. It's going to be a free play. They roll it over to Ashley Anderson, the fullback, who picks up a couple yards, and I think they're just going to accept this penalty.
Neutral zone infraction, number 99, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That was David Nyoku, who has a sack today, picking up the penalty for being a little bit too hasty on the uptake there, and I finally get a chance to catch my breath towards the end of this first half. It's been a good one. Still a 1-point game. Sioux Falls holding the 1-point lead, 14-13 over San Francisco. And for the Sparrows, it's a chance for them to change formations. As alone is Tyree over the middle, complete to Riley Porter over past the 50-yard line, and a first down. 20 seconds left. They're going to go up tempo without using a timeout. 15 seconds. They finally snap it with 13. Tyree going long, caught inside the 30 to the 25. Craig Hearn wins the one-on-one matchup down the middle of the field, and Sioux Falls are in field goal range.
And this is why he's 3rd all-time in passing. Just look at where it is that he threw it. On the outside shoulder, away from coverage. Most quarterbacks tend to either underthrow the ball there or throw it straight into the heart of the coverage, but not Tyree. Put it only where his receiver had a chance to fight for the ball, and paid off dividends there.
Julian Tyree in his 6th season in the SFL, all with the Sioux Falls Sparrows. And Prefontaine has a chance to kick this one, and it is no good. Missed it wide right from 32 yards.
I think he just kind of got shook by the kick coverage there. They had a chance to block it, but instead they put their hands up, and it probably was just enough to spook the normally cool, calm, and collected Prefontaine.
Let's go.
And now the Sharks with 4 seconds. Do they try something here, or do they just run it out and go into the locker room?
I think they're just going to keep going deep as they have all game.
Roby gonna look down the field. Pass caught by Martino. Time is up, and he's gonna be tackled well short, right at the 50-yard line. Roby, an impressive 226 yards and a touchdown. Tyree only 155 yards. As we see, Gabriel Manning couldn't spin away from Chris Dodd. That'll do it for the first half of play from the Sharkbait Stadium in San Francisco. Sharks trail the Sparrows 14-13, but it's a close game here. We'll be back after the break. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Sharkbait Stadium in the beautiful Bay Area of San Francisco, California. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Truilo, joined in the booth by Levant Mercer. And Levant, a close first half, 14-13, only 1 point separates these two teams. Give me your overall thoughts on the first half of the play.
If basically for Sioux Falls, the first half was basically taken over by Colin Hart, just absolutely running all over San Francisco. And for San Francisco, their reliance or over-reliance on the passing game was because they've lost Zulu for the rest of the game. And honestly, it's the tale of what has happened to both of these running backs so far today that has led us to where we are right now.
The Sparrows have the lead and the football from their own 27-yard line. Julian Tyree will line up under center. The Sparrows, yellow helmets, white jerseys, white pants, black numbers today as Colin Hart runs forward for 3 yards. Running left to right across your radio dial in the third quarter. San Francisco, black helmets, black jerseys, black pants with white numbers and light blue trim as the home team today. Let's take a look at your out-of-town scoreboard presented by ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the Simulation Football League. We'll get to those other scores from around the league after this. 2nd down and 7. Tyree over the middle, 1st down and more. Craig Hearn leaps like a salmon over the middle and picks up a first down. And now let's get to your out-of-town scoreboard. Carolina over St. Louis in the second quarter, 13-3. And Chicago and Indianapolis tied at 3 in a low-scoring affair in the third quarter. That is your out-of-town scoreboard, presented by Score Stream. Tyree, first down and 10, seam route for 8 yards, right to Sean Harrelson, as the Sparrows continue their march down the field.
Yeah, once again, it's just showing how Tyree put precision-guided passes to his receivers in the face of coverage.
If you want live scoring updates from around the SFL on your phone, download the Score Stream app from the iPhone or Android app store today. And Colin Hart just ran right through the middle of the San Francisco defense like butter for 15 yards and a first down up past midfield to the 44-yard line.
Going up the middle, just like Media Tech. He loves what he does.
And what he's doing right now is running through San Francisco's front line. And I am sure that the corners and safeties for San Francisco are not happy about how many times they have had to tackle or attempt to tackle Colin Hart in this football game. First down and 10 for the Sparrows in Sharks territory, and a play-action pass is knocked away, intended for Craig Hearn over the middle.
Well, that right there was just Tyree just facing a lot of pressure. That offensive line has been shaky all day. And even with the couple rushing touchdowns that they have lost their assignments, and Colin Hart had to get those touchdowns borderline on his own.
Second and 10, 5 wide set, 3 left, 2 right. Alone in the backfield is Tyree. 4-man front. And looking like man-to-man coverage for the Sharks defense. Tyree over the middle. That pass is complete. And right down the middle goes Riley Porter. First down and more up to the 26-yard line.
Well, this play right here is just a breakdown on coverage right here. Leaving Riley Porter basically by himself over in a drag route there with no one covering him. You cannot do that if you're San Francisco.
And it looks like all of San Francisco's defenders went deep, thinking that that's where Tyree was going to go, and then he went underneath. Nobody was left to cover the underneath route, and another first down for Sioux Falls on this impressive first drive of the second half. Here's Colin Hart running away to the end zone. Put it on the board. Colin Hart's got a hat trick of touchdowns today.
Now this time, the offensive line stuck to their assignments, except for the guard pulling there, and Hart was able to just burst through with perfect just acceleration through the gap there, through the power O, into the end zone for a touchdown.
And number 95 for San Francisco, John Osiris, the defensive tackle, tried to get to Colin Hart, and you could see the life drained from his face as he was chasing after Hart and just pulling away from him. He's got 10 yards of separation by the end of the run, as the extra point from Prefontaine is up and good. Sioux Falls lead this one 21-13, 8:19 to go third quarter, courtesy of 3 Colin Hart touchdowns, and he has been the crux of this offense for Sioux Falls today and pretty much all season as well.
That he has been, and to think that he's replaced the outgoing Robert Redford and is putting up similar numbers to that which he replaced is astonishing for a rookie, honestly.
Gabriel Manning up to the 31-yard line on the kickoff return. Speaking of Robert Redford, his new team, Las Vegas, got the win earlier today. They beat Denver. As well, the other early game today saw London upsetting the Eastern Conference race by beating Queen City. First and 10 from the 31 for San Francisco, going right to left across your radio dial. Roby swing out to Blackman out of the backfield. He'll pick up a couple of yards on the check down. Make it 2 yards before he's brought down by Tyrone Black.
This is honestly how they're going to have to employ him. As I said earlier, he's more of a one-cut sort of back. He's also very good at soft hands out of the backfield, receiving the ball. He just shouldn't be employed in the same way they tried to employ Sioux. So they should just go to the outside with him.
2nd down and 8 from the 33. Roby under center. He'll take the snap, looking downfield over the middle, tipped away. And how many almost interceptions has Jay Ringgold had today? That's about a 3rd or 4th one that could have been picked. And I gotta say it, Roby is just going deep and praying on some of these.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to say what it is that Roby is doing, but he's just chucking up a lot of prayers, and a lot of them aren't getting answered.
3rd and 8 now. Got to get past the 41-yard line for a 1st down. Roby 7-step drop, pressure in his face. That ball looked like it got tipped to the line of scrimmage because it was an errant throw, and Gabriel Manning couldn't come up with it. And it's going to be a 3-and-out for the Sharks on their first possession of the 2nd half.
I'm unsure who it was that got their hand up on their play, but that might have been number 98 there. We had just one hand on the ball and just changed the trajectory of the pass.
That would have been Lennox Sanders, and looking back on it, yeah, Lennox Sanders got his hand up and tipped the ball away right at the line of scrimmage, so Chris kicks on to punt from his own 20-yard line. And this will be returned, not a lot of yards, up to the 24 by Riley Porter. Good solo tackle by Jabril Peppers, the corner, playing special teams for the Sharks today. And now Sioux Falls has a chance to really open this game up here. It's been a close affair for most of the ball game, and right now Sioux Falls looking for some separation, and Colin Hart looks to provide it, but he cannot escape the ankle tackle of the man that brought him down on the San Francisco side.
At that time, it looked like it was a design corner blitz, and this time it paid off because while the contain was lost on the edge there, that extra man came down and stopped hard at the line.
It was looking like Dean Maddox came up from the corner spot and brought down Hart on that last play. Here's an out route to Harrelson. 1st down. I'm sorry, that's A.J. Warren on the catch. 1st down for Sioux Falls up to the 34. And we've seen it time and again today, Levant. These crossing patterns for Sioux Falls are killing the San Francisco defense.
So every time San Francisco thinks that Sioux Falls is going deep, they just keep going to the crossing patterns over the middle or out to the outside and just can't do anything about it.
Tyree over the middle cut, and almost a 1st down by Craig here, and he's going to be marked just short, so 2nd and less than a yard.
That's just another one of those plays where you kind of just don't think when he went down, according to the refs, is really where it was he went down.
Offset eye. This is going to look to be Colin Hart on the way. 2nd and less than a yard. It's going to be Colin Hart who breaks through. Great block, and he's got 1st down and more past the 50 up to the San Francisco 45.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was Hart here, I probably would have just tried taking it over to the sidelines. He had a lot more daylight there. Wonderful block there actually gave him some more room to run. He just kind of got caught up there right behind where Maddox was and just couldn't go to the outside soon enough.
Chad Guy, middle linebacker, surveying the offensive set, which is 2 wide. And 1 in the backfield along with Tyree. Takes a high snap, throws near sideline. Here's a bullet that's caught on the sideline by Riley Porter in the face of Dean Maddox.
This is just one of those times as we see Porter just absolutely shred. Look at that. You gotta probably take a look at Maddox's ankles after that because he got so thrown off his route there.
Cristiano Torres had to come over and assist to bring down Porter after the catch. 1st and 10 for Sioux Falls from the 28-yard line of San Francisco. Sidearm throw over the middle, caught for 8 yards. Sean Harrelson brings that one down in tight coverage. Camden Hoffman was all over the back of him, but he still made the catch.
This is just the keys of the West Coast offense. Just continue to just drive the ball methodically downfield and then eventually just kill them with the run. And that's what Sioux Falls has been doing.
2nd down and 2. Look for another dose of Kylan Hart here. He'll get the ball, run far side, gets around the blocker, and he's got another 1st down and into the SFL presented by APM Music Red Zone at the 14-yard line.
You know, at this point, if you're San Francisco, you probably want to inject some chaos into this game. That's probably something that they're better at doing because conventionally stacking up against the Sparrows has just not been their thing all game.
Can Julian Tyree throw his first passing touchdown of the game? Let's see. From the 14-yard line, single back 2 wide receivers, handoff, Colin Hart running far side, sheds a tackle and goes into the end zone. Put it on the board. Colin Hart, all aboard the Sioux Falls hype train.
And just look at this again. He a little obscured here, but he just didn't even wait for his block. He said, I got it myself. Just absolutely sheds that tackler and gets in for his 3rd touchdown of the day.
4th touchdown of the day.
4th touchdown of the game.
All Sioux Falls touchdowns have been Colin Hart runs.
I've been corrected more times often than not, but wow, how did I miss that one?
Because you'd think that Julian Tyree would have thrown a touchdown at this point, but he hasn't. It's been all Colin Hart. Prefontaine puts the extra point up and through. 3:49 to go, 3rd quarter. Sioux Falls running away with this one. It's 28-13. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. And you were talking about Offensive Rookie of the Year for Colin Hart. How about just straight up Offensive Player of the Year? Because he might be in the running for that award with a performance like today's.
Well, he still has a lot of other players to contend for that distinction with, but he's making a case for himself today.
Oh, here's Manning, and only an undercut tackle right at the end by Freddie Fox. Stopped Gabriel Manning from potentially breaking a big return. He did get up to the 37-yard line, which is an impressive return in the SFL.
It's not often that returns go that far, and honestly, Manning and probably Max Jackson are one of the few that are able to do it on a consistent basis.
Here is Roby, short. Whoa, one-handed catch, Tim Brown Jr. It only got 2 yards, but it looked impressive.
Definitely did, but it pales in comparison to the amount of times he's dropped the ball this season.
Thank you for the kind words in the chat, Blue Tiger and Bizwoofer. We greatly appreciate it. Offset eye, 2nd down and 8 from the San Francisco 39-yard line. Roby looking, pressure, blitz was picked up well, but he undersold his receiver. And Jay Ringgold, who has been the star of the Sioux Falls defense today, gets another knockdown.
And that right there is just where he gets in front of his receiver and plays the ball, and he made the right choice at that time. Only was able to get a hand in there, but it won't be long until Ringgold gets an opportunity if he keeps playing like that.
Roby's going to have to look downfield here on 3rd and 8. Got to get almost up to midfield for the 1st down. 3 receivers right, single left. Roby, plenty of time, going deep down the sideline. Great catch, Gabriel Manning, into Sioux Falls territory at the 30-yard line.
This is just one of those times you go back to what was working earlier. Roby to Manning has been just absolutely electric when it's worked. And once again, just right over Dodd, and I think he just keeps seeing that matchup as something to exploit.
And the commentator's curse strikes Jay Ringgold as he got burned on the go route by Manning on that last play. They're going to switch the formation. This time the trips are to the near side left. Single right. Roby under center with Blackman behind him. Roby short drop, short throw to the far side for 5 yards, and that's Manning again.
I mean, just keep putting Manning on different sides of the field so far. 12 receptions, 152 yards. Surprising to see that he hasn't got a touchdown reception yet, but that may be forthcoming.
Roby will be in the I formation for the Sharks this time with a single receiver each side on 2nd and 5. He'll drop back to pass. He's going to go down the sideline into the end zone, put it on the board. Back of the end zone, tapping the toes, and it is Mickey Martino with the touchdown grab.
I almost thought it was the curse again, but of course, we always kind of forget Mickey Martino sometimes. Really deceptive. Just rounded his corner there, his coverage man there. Just absolutely no chance for Nyberg to get back to him.
Beautiful throw by Roby, put it on a dime in the back of the end zone as Andrew Nyberg could not recover in time, and Mickey Martino shows the speed and gets the touchdown. And this game is not over yet. It'll be an 8-point game once if this extra point goes through from Sloan. And it is up and through. Sioux Falls, they aren't through with the San Francisco Sharks yet. It's 28-20, and we're not even in the fourth quarter yet. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. And that last drive was the kind of drive that the home fans really would have been wanting all game from this San Francisco team, and really haven't seen since the first quarter.
No, they haven't, and now that they've been able to actually get into a rhythm, they're really wanting to stop the Sparrows here and keep the game close, because as we've known all season, if the Sharks, get close enough in the end of the third, going into the fourth, lots of strange things start happening.
I think it's us, Levant. If we're in the booth for a game, strange things happen. First down and 10 for Sioux Falls from their own 24-yard line after good kick coverage by the San Francisco special teams. Tyree, plenty of time, throws down the middle, picked off! San Francisco coming back the other way! Barry Barkley has an interception, and just like that, the game has swung back in San Francisco's favor.
This, once again, is watch the rush off the edge. He felt the pressure and just underthrew it. He didn't have time to set his feet. Barkley jumped the route, got in front of Harrelson, and now the Sharks have the ball getting deep in the heart of the Sparrows. End of the field.
Sean Harrelson couldn't come back to that football in time. And now, here we go. San Francisco a chance to tie with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here. Roby under center on 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. He'll throw near side. That pass is complete at a first down, 11 yards to Gabriel Manning.
Starting to see that the Sharks like lining Manning up only where the matchup is favorable for them. They keep putting him on different sides of the field, so even if they're going to the same receiver over and over again, they're building the game plan as the game goes along to feed him the ball.
They've loved this 4-receiver set ever since Zulu went down. They've been using it to great advantage as Manning again makes the grab. This time he can't turn upfield for the first down. He'll get 9 yards inside the SFL presented by APM Music Red Zone to the 11-yard line.
It's just been the case with the chain gang all day, giving both teams just very strange spots. Once again, 2nd and inches. The 3rd time this game, the chain gang has decided to give them an unfavorable spot.
Roby has the end zone in his eyes. 2nd and inches from the 11. Handoff. Oh, up the middle. Blackman scores. Put it on the board. Blackman touchdown for San Francisco on the draw.
And that astounds even me. They haven't really used him much in the running game. They went with a draw again up the middle. Got the defense absolutely lost out there. They were really expecting a pass. They were in zone coverage. None of the linebackers were able to converge until it was way too late, and now we have a ball game.
Rob Roby on the field for the 2-point conversion to tie the game with 1:34 to go in the 3rd quarter. Roby Drops back, looking, pressure, steps up in the pocket, escapes a blitz, still looking, and he's going to throw it. Oh, and it's incomplete. Rob Roby did his best Houdini impression, but in the end couldn't find anybody open in the end zone. And it's going to be a 2-point ball game.
And honestly here, I think just the biggest mistake he had to have made here, while understanding that absolutely no one was open, why did you not just take off and run? Once you evaded that near sack, you should have just took it yourself.
We saw on the extended replay there how covered Manning was. Double covered in the corner. No way that Roby was going to find him with the football. And now it's a 2-point game, but Sioux Falls have to be worried here after that Tyree interception. If you're the coach for Sioux Falls, what do you say to Julian Tyree on the sideline after that?
We're just going to give it the heart here. You just need to manage the game. Honestly, the game is much too close for us to just keep risking it out there. So let's just try to close things out, give it the heart, and just contain the game. Manage it.
1st and 10 from the 24. Here's Colin Hart up the middle. Gets a block running right between the tackles for 12 yards and a first down. Up to 157 yards on the day. He's had the impressive day, Colin Hart, and he continues to do so with that run.
Well, just look at the vision he had there. He just cut once, found the gap in the defense, and just continues to sashay his way across all sides of the field.
Sashay, good word. Levant stretching the vocabulary up here in the booth today. 1st down and 10 from the Sioux Falls 36-yard line. Oh, that was almost picked again, and it hits the turf. As Camden Hoffman originally knocked it up in the air, and then it looked like he lost it after he originally got contact. And Sioux Falls is lucky, because if he had come down with that, that's a pick 6 all day.
Well, I have to at least give Hoffman enough props to continue trying for the ball. You see too many times they just let the ball or the play die, and Hoffman at least tried to save the play.
2nd and 10, Colin Hart running near side, dragging a defender for about 4 yards, picks up 7 on the play, as Eric Stops was just along for the ride. Nothing much else he could do.
If you're San Francisco here, you might want to try to contain the edge here and have a linebacker spy and try to read where Hart is going. Maybe that will help keep him just within the gaps instead of having him bounce to the outside.
Huge play here. 3rd and 3. Colin Hart. Oh, he didn't get there. What an amazing solo tackle in the hole by Cristiano Torres, the safety.
Well, I guess that's a bit of a commentator's curse yet again. As soon as I say that they should do something, they go out and execute exactly what was said.
Torres has been a little bit quiet from the safety spot today, but that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Put your 4s up, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 2-point game, and the Sharks are going to get the ball back. 11 minutes to go here on the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. Mo holds on to punt from his own 30-yard line. Bit of a high snap, but he gets the kick away fine. Return by Manning. Oh, he ducks one tackle and makes it up to the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at your score stream out of town scoreboard right now. Chicago and Indianapolis still tied at 3 in the 4th quarter. And Carolina continues to pull away from St. Louis. That's 30-13 late in the 3rd. If you want up to the minute updates from around the league on your phone, download the ScoreStream app for Android and iPhone. 2-point ball game, 28-26. The Sharks have the football. Here's a throw on 1st down to Manning. He turns upfield and gets a 1st down and more up to the 40-yard line, a 12-yard gain.
I think honestly at this point of the game, knowing us, we should just try to get people into this game. It's a close game once again in the 4th. And San Francisco starting their drive off well with a pass to Manning once again.
You've got 35 people watching now. Let's make that number skyrocket as we get down towards the end of the game. Roby going long. Roby's got a catch into tight coverage. Mickey Martino got the hops and got a first down across midfield.
And this is something that's usually not said much about Martino, but look at him here. Just jumps with Levy. That's something that you would probably never say. Levy almost never lets anyone out jump him. And look at that. Just absolutely mossed him.
Mickey Martino is actually taller than AJ Levy. Martino 6'3", Levy 6'1". But with Levy's pedigree, you'd think he's coming down with that or at least knocks it away. But the Sharks get another first down. They're into Sioux Falls territory. And a seam route was dropped by Gabriel Manning as he got hit across the middle. And it's going to be second down.
So yeah, at this point, Levy just makes up for it here by I'm absolutely not cameraman. We're going to need to talk about this. Because I'm not sure. Bumping him?
It was actually Alex Parker that laid the hit that jarred the ball loose.
Oh. That error there was just a truck.
And guys in the truck, man, the truck's had some issues this week. I'm sure league officers will talk to them in the off week as Martino grabs 4 yards on second down, 3rd and 6 coming up from the 29.
Well, they just need to get into field goal range just to take the lead, but I'm sure San Francisco's thinking to get some separation from Sioux Falls here, so they may either go back to Manning or Martino, or might actually try to find a way to stick Burnham back in the game somehow.
Yeah, 7 points leaves them on 33. Which is still less than a touchdown lead. Here is Roby going toward the sticks, and it's not going to be enough. The spot is just short after the Manning catch along the sideline. And here comes Rositarian Sloan. Or are they not even in field goal range? We'll see.
I'm quite sure they're within his range. And
yep, here is Sloan. This is going to be making a 43-yarder. It's away, and it is right down Main Street. Rositarian Sloan, the rookie, still perfect on the day, and gives San Francisco the 29-28 lead.
It's probably the first time they've led all game.
Now, they led 7-0, was their only lead of the game.
I did say probably, not always right. I know that much. I was wrong earlier in the game.
It was 7-0. It was 10-0, and then Sioux Falls scored 21 straight, and then San Francisco has come back in this ball game. And a return for Porter takes it up to the 33-yard line, and he doesn't have the straight line speed that Gabriel Manning does. He's more of a power returner, so he will be down to the 33.
I don't know. They both look like big receivers, honestly. Big returnmen.
It's going to be up to the San Francisco defense to stop Julian Tyree, Callan Hart, and the Sioux Falls offense from driving down the field and taking the lead back. And they're going to flare it out to... going backwards is not Colin Hart. That's Ashley Anderson from the fullback spot. Loses 2 yards. Dean Maddox comes up and makes the hit.
It was just a strange decision by Tyree to lop it. I don't think that's the type of pass you want to use when you're throwing it short like that, and gave enough time for the whole defense to shift over to that side.
Second down and 12. Tyree, 2 in the backfield. Tyree short throw, and dropped by AJ Warren. Hasn't been targeted much today, has AJ. And maybe that's why, as he drops that one over the middle.
Warren's normally a very efficient receiver. He's one of the possession guys there, but we just slipped on the route there, and when it was thrown his way, he was already halfway towards the ground.
3rd and 12. Tyree, plenty of time, throwing, tipped away. Great defensive play. Jabril peppers one-on-one defense.
And so far today, the San Francisco Sharks secondary has decided to play the ball the right way almost every time, except for the few times where they just absolutely left the receiver open. When they've been one-on-one with receivers, they've seemed to play the ball at the right time or the receiver at the right time.
And they've never left a receiver open behind them. When Tyree's had easy throws, it's always been underneath. A great job by San Francisco's secondary today, and I'm surprised we didn't see more Colin Hart on that drive as Gabriel Manning returns up to the 38-yard line.
I think part of that is, I'm sure Sioux Falls has seen it, and I'm sure most of the league has seen it now, but when you run the ball when you're behind, and you most often than not, you help the winning team just control the clock more.
Yeah, but it seems silly not to give it to your most I don't know what I was going to say there. Your best offensive weapon is Matt Burnham makes a catch and gets 6 yards.
We're finally getting Burnham back into the game here, getting him with a nice gain of about 8. Was it 6 here, this play?
6, 8, somewhere in the middle. But back to my previous point, it seems silly not to give the ball to your best offensive player when he has been eating the San Francisco defense all day. 2nd and 4 for Roby and company for the home team. Roby, delayed handoff, another draw play to Blackman, but he got caught up on his own block. If he was able to get around Brian Baker, then he might have been gone. But he couldn't make the cut, and he was brought down short of the line to gain 3rd and 1.
He already started stumbling right before he got caught up behind his own blocker. There was just absolutely no way he can get back up and push through from there.
3rd and 1, Roby got a throw. Here comes the blitz. Roby goes for it all, and he over his receiver, and it's Tim Brown Jr.
Well, this time Sioux Falls went for it all right here with a cover 0. They sent the whole package at them, and it worked out this time. But if Roby had one more second just to set his feet, that could have broken this game wide open for San Francisco.
Chris Kicks looking to pin the Sparrows deep. 7 minutes, 22 seconds to go in the ball game. Sharks hold a 29-28 lead. This is going to be a good punt. The 10, returned up from the 10 to the 17. And that is where the Sparrows will have to drive from to try and make up this deficit. We've seen the game slow down a little bit after the last San Francisco touchdown. Defenses set in their shape. 2 receivers each side on 1st and 10 for Tyree. Tyree takes the snap, looking, hit as he throws, complete over the middle to Harrell, sitting up Warren again. A.J. Warren makes a catch and gets a big gain up to the 34.
And this is what I was attempting to say earlier, is that Warren is one of more of their possession receivers, and that right there is part of his skill set. Right there, just able to route run his way up across the middle of the field and just make himself open for Tyree there.
Offset eye on 1st down from their own 34-yard line. Handoff, Colin Hart, up the middle, room to run and more. He's got past everybody, and the diving tackle missed him. 15, 10, 5. 5 touchdowns on the day for Colin Hart. Put it on the board again.
Well, there's Colin Hart right there, proving you right. Proving you right. Just look at him, just absolutely taking this game back in Sioux Falls control and so fast. Just had that right there as a corner trying to catch up to him, diving after him, and still unable to make the grab. Look at this again. Just zoom. See you later. Ain't nothing to do about it. Colin Hart, once again, 5 touchdowns today.
Every time Colin Hart has touched the ball today, he has had a danger to go all the way, and he's done it. 2 ridiculous touchdown runs. But one wasn't a touchdown. One was just a 70-yard run to set up a touchdown 2 plays later. And then a long touchdown run here. He's had all 5 for Sioux Falls today. They take the lead. And Prefontaine looks to put this one up and through. And he will. It's 36, or 35 rather, 29. With 6:28 to go in the ball game. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. And now it's going to be up to San Francisco's offense to go and score again.
Honestly, the only thing San Francisco has to do is not be overconfident. They understand that this is the quarter that they usually find the most success in. But at the same time, they cannot be too arrogant and think that they can allow things to happen and always be into it. Always keep themselves in the game. They have to score here, and they have to manage the clock.
3 timeouts apiece, 6:24 to go in the ball game. Roby under center, 3 left, single right, bunch formation. Roby, late blitz was picked up well, but the one-on-one matchup out there was played very well, and Gabriel Manning can't get to the football.
And once again, they have him double teamed there. It was Carpenter and Dodd there on the coverage. Just kept it real close and tight on him this time, and he wasn't able to separate himself.
Gabriel Manning. He has been the go-to man today for San Francisco. He has been the primary target for Rob Roby for the last couple of games. Is this the day he makes the big play to lead San Francisco to glory in front of their home fans? But they're going to go down the middle of the field. First down for the Sharks up to the 41-yard line. Isaiah Crowell. Wait, Aaron Razor.
Up the seam here, just able to just find a gap in the soft gap in the zone and got a first down right off of it.
I confused 98 and 89 as Aaron Razor makes his first catch of the game out from the tight end spot. I formation on 1st and 10 for the Sharks from their own 41-yard line. Roby, plenty of time, throws over the middle, tipped it incomplete. It was intended for Martino, and A.J. Levy got the hand up there.
Well, that time, the ball was just placed probably favorably for Levy there, and that time, Martino only was in position to get himself decked, and that's what Levy did to him there.
Shout out, Rob Roby, the Bizwoofer, the Doctor, A.J. Levy, DeAndre Noel, Sonic02, Mr. Gutty, and everybody else watching on the SFL Network on YouTube. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us on a Sunday in late August, or early September, rather. It's September now. As Blackman takes that out of the backfield and gets to midfield, 3rd down and short coming.
Now the playbook opens up for San Francisco. They could run the ball. They can go wide. They can go deep. They can go short. They can do whatever they want here.
That's going to be 2 receivers left, none right. And Roby's going to throw. Roby's going to throw over the middle and got a first down to Martino inside the 40. Officially spotted at the 39-yard line as Martino is up to 130-plus yards.
Between Martino and Manning both, they're over, they make up probably almost 92% of the targets for them today. It's an astounding fact.
A couple of catches for Matt Burnham and a catch for Aaron Razor and maybe 2 catches for Tim Brown Jr. That's it besides Martino and Manning. And again over the middle and again the soft zone peels away to let Martino make another first down catch to the 27.
And here it is again, just giving Roby just enough time to find a gap in the coverage. Looked like it was a blown coverage there. Someone jumped too soon and left Martino by himself.
This has been a very efficient drive for San Francisco. They started back in their own 30. And now at the 27 of Sioux Falls, and oh, that was almost picked off. A.J. Levy jumped the route and batted the ball down.
Well, when you have a veteran safety like A.J. Levy, you cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's a ball hawk back there. He just spied quarterback's eyes, saw he was going to go do the same thing that he's been doing the past couple drives, and almost came away with an interception there.
And that is one thing that San Francisco really can't afford to do right now. 2nd and 10. Roby changing the play at the line. He'll take a short drop and a short throw, and Martino's got room to run, but he can't pick up the first down. He's just short as Ringgold and Dodd combined to make the tackle. 3rd and inches now from inside the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone at the 17.
28 total targets between 2 receivers.
On 3rd and inches, they've spread the field wide. 4 receivers. 3 right, single left. And it's a draw. Blackman, first down. San Francisco has run that draw to Blackman a couple of times today, and it's worked very well for them. Wait, it's 4th and inches at the 70. He didn't pick up the first down? I'm so confused.
Once again, the chain gang just seems to just make weird decisions, and that right there, once again, you could see he was down 5 yards. I don't understand this.
He was all the way to the 15-yard line.
This is abysmal. This is abysmal by the chain gang.
It's going to be Rositarian Sloan who puts it right down Main Street from 33 yards. And it's now a 4-point game. And with 3:42 to go, and the way San Francisco's defense have been playing, you got to think that the Sharks are going to get at least one more offensive possession, but they should still be on offense here.
And this is probably the 4th time or 5th, because Sioux Falls has also been robbed on a couple of possessions. Let's not forget that. The chain gang has just generally been terrible today. This is the third or 4th time San Francisco has been at the mercy of who just decides the spots.
As Riley Porter brings it back to the 24. My mind goes back to, I think it was early in the 3rd quarter when it looked like San Francisco had a touchdown because Martino slid into the end zone after making a catch, and it looked like nobody touched him down. They called him down at the 1. Sioux Falls got to stop and forced them to kick a field goal. And that possession is currently the difference in this ball game right now. So a game of inches today as Colin Hart runs around the outside of the right, and he'll eventually be driven back by Cristiano Torres after a gain of 4.
And honestly, even though this might be the biggest risk for San Francisco, they might just have to set their defense to focus just innately and mostly entirely on the run.
2nd down and 6. Just over a minute to go to the 2-minute warning here from Shark Bait Stadium in San Francisco. Letting the clock went all the way down. Play action, going down the field. Great catch, and there he goes. There goes the receiver all the way down inside the 15-yard line, A.J. Warren. This time he comes up big and flips the field.
Well, so much for what I was saying, because that was the risk that probably blew this play open. They right there missed tackle, but he was in position to make that play because the play action just threw them so far off. They all spied the run, and that left Warren just wide open. And when you have Chad Guy being the only one able to catch up to you, it means that there had been several miscommunications on defense.
If you sell out on stopping the run, it leaves your defenders in one-on-one coverage on the outside. And this time, A.J. Warren burned his coverage man, and now inside the red zone on the other end is Sioux Falls. A handoff, Colin Hart. Oh, wasn't wrapped up in the backfield. Eventually, Torres brings him down. But Isaiah Crowell had Hart dead to rights in the backfield and couldn't bring him down. This will take us to the 2-minute warning. It's a 4-point ball game, but Sioux Falls is looking to put this game away. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. Michael Truilo, Levant, Mercer from Sharkbait Stadium in the beautiful Bay Area of San Francisco, coming down to the wire again with 2 minutes to go in a 4-point ball game. Here we go. Levy under center, or Tyree under center, rather. Gives to Colin Hart, looking for an opening, and he will drag Junior DeSenior for 5 yards, and a timeout called by San Francisco.
I like the timeout there simply because they only you understand that Sioux Falls only really has 2 more plays to call here if they stop them, but they're going on the basis that they stop them here.
Every time they've gotten into the red zone, Colin Hart has given them 6 points, and he's going to give them 6 more. Put it on the board. 6 touchdown day for Colin Hart. Are you kidding me?
Well, he has single-handedly taken the reins of this game in his hands once again. Just absolutely having no answers for Colin Hart today, and just if he doesn't get player of the game, that's yet another robbery. He's probably the only real candidate for it.
And he's probably broken a dozen or so tackles on his touchdown runs alone. I remember he had one on his first one back in the first half. He broke 3 tackles on his way to the end zone. He broke 1 that time as Prefontaine sets up for the extra point. And it is up and through. And we're at a 10-point ball game now. 42-32, a minute 52 to go, and that might just be the nail in the coffin for San Francisco's hopes in today's ball game. Prefontaine sets a kickoff from the 30-yard line. San Francisco needs a miracle to avoid dropping to 2 and 6, and it's not a return miracle because Manning only gets out to the 28-yard line.
Honestly, if they drop this game, they're going to be closer to Vancouver than they are to Denver, and that may just start pushing them into elimination for the playoffs.
And this was an extremely important game for Sioux Falls, and I'm not saying like the game is over because it's not. Something wacky could still happen as that seam route is overthrown for Martino. But let's say this result holds. Sioux Falls goes to 6-2. Now the pressure is on Mexico City tonight to beat Houston to stay tied with Sioux Falls for second place in the Western Conference. So I'm assuming that Mexico City was all in on the Sharks' win today as Matt Burnham gets a first down and more pushed out of bounds to the 40, a minute 40 to go.
I feel like Mexico City would be looking back to how they played against Alaska or probably really worried right now, considering Sioux Falls has no signs of slowing down.
Mike Daggs in the chat. Mexico City will beat Houston tonight, and we shall see. That game coming up 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Is down the middle looking for Martino. Goes Roby. It's knocked away by Levy.
That just once again just reeks of desperation at this point. I understand that they've been testing Levy all day, and he's passed the exam every time. And if Roby continues to do this, he might just end up giving Levy an interception.
2nd and 10 from the 41-yard line. 1:36 to go. Floater out to Martino, makes the catch, gets out of bounds, gain of 4. So 3rd and 6 and the 45 coming up. Next up for Sioux Falls, they head to the I to play probably the best team in the Simulation Football League, the Alaska Storm. And if Hart plays like this, they've got a legit shot at it, because while the Storm are undefeated, they have not looked infallible like they did last season.
No, there have been times where Alaska, especially against both of these teams here today, have seemed to have just been a play or two.
Oh, Tim Brown Jr., sorry to interrupt you, made a spin move in the open field and got down to the 27-yard line. Timeout used by San Francisco. That's their 2nd. That was beautiful.
Well, I normally don't like that move, but when you're able to just absolutely send Levy into the sidelines, you know, maybe I'm starting to take a like to that move.
And back on the Sioux Falls wagon. Sioux Falls is at Mexico City 2 weeks from today in a game that could possibly decide who gets an automatic bid to the playoffs. Is Roby, down to the goal line, he's not in. No touchdown yet for Mickey Martino as he tried to fall across the goal line. He's just short.
It's just pretty much wide open, just left with Levy. Levy just stayed on the ground there, catatonic, not really believing that just happened to him.
San Francisco forced to burn their final timeout, but it is 1st and goal from inside the 1. And fade, touchdown, put it on the board. Mickey Martino will grab his touchdown today for the San Francisco Sharks.
Well,
and the
now
extra point would put them within 3, and we know how well Razatarian Sloan does onside kicks.
Onside kick so far this season for Razatarian Sloan, 2 for 2.
But Sloan has got to put this extra point up and good to give them a chance to possibly send it to overtime. But with 1:05 to go, if they miss the onside kick, then that's the game, because Sioux Falls can just kneel it out. It is good. It's a 3-point ball game. Sioux Falls 42, San Francisco 39. And the game hinges on the next 10 seconds. Ball at the 30. Razatarian Sloan has it. And here comes the onside kick. It bounces straight into the hands of the Sioux Falls Sparrows. And wait, they're showing a Sharks player. But the Sharks defense is on the field. The Sparrows recover the onside kick. That is your ball game.
That right there on the onside kick just seemed like it was right at the Sparrows, and there was no chance, unless they just couldn't fall on it, that they wouldn't have it.
And they will kneel out the end of this game. 2-6 will go the San Francisco Sharks. Sioux Falls increases to 6-2. Next week, the Sharks are at home again against the Las Vegas Fury, who got a win earlier today against Denver. As Las Vegas is still in with a chance to make a wild card bid in the Western Conference. And we've already been over Sioux Falls' road to the playoffs, and it goes to Alaska and Mexico City in the next couple of weeks. So a tough couple of games for Sioux Falls. I think they'll be happy to escape Sharkbait Stadium with a win today. Final thoughts on the ball game, Levant?
Well, here, this is just a case of whether you have your running back on the field or you don't. For San Francisco, they were forced to pass most of the game simply because they lost Zulu in the first quarter and just weren't really able to get going. After that, they were always behind in this game for the most part, and Sioux Falls just absolutely shredded their defense with a 6-touchdown performance by Colin Hart.
Hart scores 6 touchdowns. The Sparrows get the win. And that'll do it for us. For Levant Mercer and everybody else in our broadcast crew here from Sharkbait Stadium in San Francisco, California. That'll do it. The final score, 42-39 in favor of the Sioux Falls Sparrows. I have been your play-by-play commentator, Michael Truilo, and we will see you next time. And don't forget to join us tonight at 7:30 Central for Mexico City and Houston.